A worker was thrown to the ground after being struck by a white-hot metal billet that suddenly shot out of a hydraulic press. At that moment, no one should have been inside the press's striking zone, but the operator's brief distraction created a dangerous situation. This incident shows how critical safety procedures are when working with press machines. The press must never be activated before the part is secured and everyone has cleared the ejection zone. Hot materials should be clamped firmly, die alignment should be checked, and the operator must always remain behind the guards. In a warehouse, a forklift operator realized that the load he was carrying was too heavy. To keep the balance, a co-worker climbed onto the rear end to act as a counterweight. However, since the load exceeded the forklift's capacity, the vehicle tipped forward. When the operator released the load, the weight suddenly shifted backward, and the forklift toppled in reverse. The co-worker behind it lost his balance, fell, and narrowly avoided being crushed. This incident highlights how dangerous improvised solutions can be when operating forklifts. Overloading, using people as counterweights, or carrying passengers is strictly forbidden. Forklifts must only be used by one trained operator within manufacturer limits and according to safety regulations. Inside a warehouse, workers were going about their daily tasks near tall stacks of wheat sacks. Everything seemed calm and ordinary, and the piles appeared stable. But shortly after, one of the stacks lost its balance and suddenly collapsed. The heavy sacks fell onto nearby workers, turning the area into a danger zone within seconds. This incident demonstrates the importance of proper stacking safety in warehouses. Sacks, boxes, or pallets must not be piled beyond their stable limit. Floor level, alignment, and balance should always be checked. Stabilizing equipment should be used when needed, and workers must stay away from areas with a risk of collapse. While a heavy machine was being unloaded from a truck ramp, the unsecured ramp suddenly shifted, causing the truck to jolt violently. The machine began to tip sideways, but the workers managed to jump away just in time, narrowly escaping a serious accident. This incident emphasizes how vital it is to secure loading and unloading ramps properly. Before every operation, the ramp must be fully seated on the ground, have a non-slip surface, and be securely locked to the truck. Even a small shift can cause tons of equipment to overturn. At a construction site, heavy metal pipes were being lifted with a crane. However, workers were standing directly underneath the suspended load, a dangerously unsafe position. Moments later, one of the lifting cables snapped, and the multi-ton pipes plummeted to the ground. One worker jumped back just in time, but another was struck and severely injured. This incident reveals the deadly risk of standing beneath suspended loads. During crane operations, the area beneath the load must remain clear. A safety zone must be defined, and constant communication with the operator maintained. Even the smallest equipment failure can lead to catastrophic consequences within seconds. At a stone-crushing plant, workers noticed that stones had become jammed inside the machine, halting production. To clear the blockage, one worker approached the machine and entered the area to remove the stuck rock. At first, everything seemed under control, but suddenly, a large stone shifted and forced the worker into contact with the moving parts. Within seconds, the situation turned critical. This accident highlights the vital importance of shutting off energy and securing systems before maintenance on heavy machinery. No worker should intervene without proper lockout-tagout procedures in place. Jammed materials should never be handled manually. Instead, appropriate tools or rods must be used to dislodge them safely. In a production area, a worker was observing a crane operated nearby as it moved a heavy load. While lifting and repositioning the load, a sudden technical failure occurred, causing the load to swing out of control and crash onto another machine below. The impact was severe, but the operator instinctively stepped back and narrowly escaped injury. This incident demonstrates how critical safety checks are during crane operations. Before lifting, all hooks, cables, and attachment points must be thoroughly inspected, and no one should stand within the load's movement path. The operator must identify hazardous zones and ensure that all personnel remain at a safe distance. A worker was using an angle grinder to cut a piece of a wooden pallet while standing in an unstable position and without proper personal protective equipment. During the cut, the piece jammed and the disc violently kicked back. The grinder flew out of the worker's hands, and the rapidly spinning disc posed a serious danger to everyone nearby. This incident underscores the life-saving importance of following safety rules during grinding work. The correct and intact disc must be used, and the cutting angle must be properly adjusted. Workers should always wear protective gear, maintain a stable stance, and keep the tool away from their body. Even a small grinder can become deadly when used incorrectly. In a busy workshop, a worker was inflating a heavy-duty truck tire when it suddenly exploded. The internal pressure had exceeded the tire's structural limit, and the forceful blast sent fragments flying, striking a nearby worker. What began as a routine maintenance task instantly turned into a serious accident. This incident highlights how critical safety is when working with high-pressure tires. A calibrated pressure gauge must always be used, and manufacturer limits should never be exceeded. Workers should avoid standing in front of the tire, and all inflation operations should be performed within a safety cage or behind protective barriers. In a crowded manufacturing facility, a heavy load suspended by a crane was hanging directly above several workers. As the crane moved, the load struck a large nearby machine. The impact caused the machine to topple over and crash to the ground. Panic broke out briefly, but workers managed to move away just in time, narrowly avoiding disaster. This incident shows the life or death importance of maintaining a safe distance and controlling the work area when handling suspended loads. No one should ever stand under a hanging load, and the surrounding area must remain clear during transport. Obstacles along the crane's path should be removed beforehand, and work in confined spaces should only proceed when there is sufficient clearance and proper guidance. These videos take a lot of effort to make. Even one subscriber makes a big difference.